What is up, everyone? It is I, the Bread Factory, also known as Bradley. I am joined today by my lovely, lovely boyfriend, Austin.
Hello.
Hello. And we are going to talk about this year of horror so far. Granted, there's a few I haven't seen, and I still need to see. So, not talking about all of the horror movies that came out this year, but just the ones that I have seen and that Austin has seen. We'll be talking about those really quick because I think this has been a pretty solid year for horror. I don't think it's been an amazing year like everyone else thinks it has, but I think it's been a pretty solid year for horror movies. Granted, I have very particular tastes in horror, but there's been some good ones, really good ones this year. Far better than last year's, that's for sure. Although I can't really pinpoint exactly what horror films came out last year at the top of my head. But yeah, we'll be getting into some horror films that came out this year. I'll be sharing Letterboxd really quick. Let me share this screen. We'll be going through the horror films on Letterboxd. No, we're not going to do that. I can already see my camera start to lag when I did that. So I'm not doing that. I'll just look at it because that works. But yeah, so far on this list that I'm looking at that you cannot see, that I'll probably put in later. But so far, Long Legs is first on the list. Long Legs was probably my most anticipated film of this year. And not only did it exceed my expectations on how well I thought it was going to be, it did even more. It stuck with me. It gave me a lot to think about. Made me want to rewatch it, which is not something a lot of horror movies make me want to do, especially modern horror. It kind of takes a push and a nudge and something really interesting to make me be like, yeah, I want to rewatch this so I can just get a second grasp and a second look on things and kind of take it all in a second time. So this film did a lot, just a lot in general to check my boxes of horror films. It's not the scariest movie I've ever seen. I know a lot of people were saying that and still are saying that. I don't think it's the scariest movie I've ever seen, but it's very unsettling. It's very well directed. The performances are great. Blair Underwood, Micah Monroe, Nicolas Cage. God damn it, I'm forgetting her fucking name. Fucking the mom, the chick who plays the mom. I always forget her fucking name. Yeah. She's great in the movie. She's also another great actress that I like a lot. But yeah, movie was great. Osgood Perkins, you son of a bitch, keep doing whatever you're doing, because it really was what I thought it would be, which is rare because I know me and you talk a lot about expectations for certain things that we really want to see, and whether or not those are diminished or raised or kind of just in the middle when we see them. But this didn't have that factor for me. It didn't have that middle or lower factor. It kind of just had that, yeah, you kind of exceeded my expectations on what the film would be like. What did you think of Long Legs? We both saw it in theaters together, and I know we both loved it. But what did you think about it?
The film overall, I really, really enjoyed it. It was a great experience because I had gone into it pretty blind.
Yeah, you didn't see any trailers.
Yeah, I didn't see any of the trailers. I didn't see any of the or I saw some of the marketing, obviously, and stuff. But I was actively trying to avoid it as much as I possibly could. And so, yeah, which I don't do a lot with a lot of movies, but for some reason I chose to do it with this one, and I certainly enjoyed it. I do agree on like maybe just a couple issues. I don't know. It's I wouldn't say it's my favorite horror film of the year so far, but it was definitely really, really good. Yes, and I would say yeah, it's a film that for me because even avoiding everything, you still have and hear all the hype. Oh, it's the greatest thing ever, blah blah blah. And it, for the most part, lived up to the expectations and hype for me. So I was really really enjoyed that movie. I look forward to seeing it again. I think that's a movie that you definitely want to watch a few times.
Mhm.
Um, and so yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it. Say like a solid 8 out of 10
Well,
for me, 9 out of
yeah,
10.
yeah, I'd say it's probably like 8.5 for me. Maybe even a 9. Maybe even a 9, because I really don't
Even
have
a
really
nine.
many issues with the movie, except for
Right.
maybe the third act being like 15 minutes long. I was like, what? I felt like the third act could be a little longer,
Right.
and I don't feel like the ending was very satisfying. Um, I get the ending. I love, the kind of symbolism of it that, no matter if she can kill, spoilers, by the way, if you haven't seen Long Legs, if she can kill the doll or not, right? That no
Right.
matter what, she ran out of ammo. So no matter what that little girl does, she's always going to be haunted just like she was when she was a
Yeah.
kid in her whole life. So that little girl will probably have the same sort of lifestyle that she had, which is suppressed trauma, kind of childlike qualities, very intelligent, very intuitive, but also, sheltered and very, very enclosed as a person.
Yeah.
So I really like that, but I feel oh, we just okay. I feel like maybe his internet maybe crashed for a second. Oh, there he is. Oh, you switched to camera. Okay, I thought I
Yeah.
lost you for a second. Okay,
No.
um, I totally forgot I totally lost my train of thought. Um,
Whoops.
huh?
Whoops. My bad.
Oh, no, you're good. But yeah, that was Long Legs. Great film. Recommend it. Yeah, what's next on our list? So, the next one I see is I haven't finished it yet, and I know he hasn't started it. But A Quiet Place Part One, I've only seen about 45 minutes of it. I need to finish it today, and I will. Um, eh, eh, it's okay. There's like one scene so far where I was like, okay, this is like pretty, tension filled. I like this sort of spectacle. We're in the Big Apple. The movie even opens up with like a super fucking gimmicky line. It's so fucking gimmicky. It's like New York has a average decibels 90 decibels, which is the average, which is the sound of a constant scream, to really cement the fact that this is not a quiet place, but it is a quiet place film.
Right.
So that was like super corny to me. I've seen it a dozen times though, so it didn't faze me. Yeah, it just feels like a gimmick film. Like I was talking to Austin the other day about it. I think it was yesterday. It feels like Jason Takes Manhattan and Scream Six a little, which I
Uh-huh.
love both of those movies for their
Yeah.
own reasons. Maybe not Take Manhattan. I don't really love that movie. I don't really like that movie at all. It's fucking sucks. Um, except for the one scene that they got to shoot on Times Square. Yeah, I think it was Times Square. Um, yeah, it just feels like a gimmick. Like, oh, let's put it in. What's you guys know a quiet place? What if we put a quiet place in the most least quiet place in the world? It's like, okay, I guess. I haven't seen the end of the movie, so I can't say whether or not this does anything to add to the franchise. Um, Regarding lore or stuff like that, but the other two movies had no lore in them whatsoever other than weakness, escape,
True.
make no noise. The most stupidest shit I have ever seen on a fucking whiteboard in my fucking life in a fucking post apocalypse movie. It's so stupid. John Krasinski, I love
I
you, man.
I
But
love this
that
movie.
shit was retarded.
I thought 1 and 2 were great. I thoroughly enjoyed them.
I like
I look
both of
forward
them.
to it. I look forward to day one.
I like both of them
But yeah,
too.
yeah, I haven't seen it yet, so I can't speak it. But I do want to see it.
I love Lupita Nyong is her name, right?
Lupita Nyong'o or something like that. Yeah.
Oh, fucking all right.
Yeah.
But I like her a lot. Everything I see her in, I'm like, yeah, she's good.
Yeah, me too.
So she's great in the movie. Joseph Quinn so far is good. Performances are fine. Except for one cringe scene that I saw, I was like, there's one thing that I need to spoil. It's not a huge spoiler, trust me. It's nothing to do with the story or characters. No, it's really not. It's raining in New York City, right?
Mm.
It rains a lot there. So in the movie, it's like raining. Instead of taking a chance to maybe be like, oh, you know what would be a really interesting scene, and maybe they do this, but I guarantee you they don't do this. This would be a really cool opportunity to see what the creatures react to rain, like how they react to rain. Does it fucking kill them? Because we've seen them like be overstimulated with sound and to the point where they're like fucking going haywire, like tweakers. What the fuck does rain do to them? That would have been a really cool scene to be like, yeah, this is what Earth's, this is what Mother Nature. This is how Mother Nature affects these alien creatures.
Yeah,
which would have been really interesting, but they didn't do it. Instead, they showed them fucking screaming. I'm sorry, they showed them screaming in their apartment at the top of their lungs because they're so traumatized. Oh my god, it's not that horrible. I'm just being hyperbolic. But yeah, that's A Quiet Place Day 1 so far. That's 45 minutes. That's my 45-minute review of A Quiet Place Part 1. This is one we both can talk about because we both saw this in theaters as well. We actually did a double feature. Let me know if my camera is a little laggy because I can see it lagging on my side.
Just a little bit every now and again, but it's not.
It's probably when I switch tabs. I'm just going to look at it on my phone. But I'll let you lead this one while I get this set up. We saw Longlegs and Maxine the same night, which is what a great double feature. Can I just say, what a great double feature. Great experience. Both cult films revolving cults, So that was really interesting. I didn't know that. Let me try stopping and restarting. But what did you think of Maxine? What were you thinking going into it? Do you like X and Pearl? And where would this rank in the trilogy?
Yeah, I loved X and Pearl. In fact, I think X was coming out when you and I had just started getting together, and I wasn't big into horror, but I was making an exception at the time because it's produced by my boy Kid Cudi, Scott Muschetti, and starring him. And yeah, one of his first big acting roles. So I was already kind of like, this is my exception. I'm definitely going to watch this and stuff. And I loved it. I thought it was great. It was so just different than your typical horror. They really leaned into like the era, the time, the raunchy kind of boomings of the early porn industry and that type of stuff. And so I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the story. Mia Goth was phenomenal. She was, of course, the massive standout.
I want to be a star.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be a star.
So I was all in with X. Pearl, I thought Pearl was definitely it's a better character study, because X is more of an ensemble. Pearl is about we go back to the lady that the people in X encounter and all that. Just very well done storytelling. Yeah, Pearl. And so really loved Pearl. And then Maxine I really enjoyed too. I really didn't have as many issues with it as a lot of people did. I enjoyed the ending. I liked the whole kind of take on the Satanic Panic era, and then going like that full on B movie, pastor gonna make a human sacrifice cult ending with everybody in the hoods and priests and stuff in the background. I loved it. Cops bursting in to save the day. It was, yeah, I thought it was great. I really really enjoyed it. So, I mean, it's a trilogy for me that I there's not a bad movie in it. I can enjoy all of them. I would say, that I'd say Pearl is probably my favorite, and then I would go X, and then I would go Maxine.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah, I pretty much agree with pretty much everything you said. I love all three films, and to see a trilogy come out within like 3 years, like a year of each film, is really exciting. It's like I love that excitement about film, and especially about like a trilogy of films when they're good too, especially when they're good. Unlike Rebel Moon, but that's what was really exciting about Maxine, because you just saw X or Pearl in 2022 to come out. I believe it came out in 2022. Or was that X? Did Pearl come out last year? Right?
No, Pearl came out 2 years ago.
2 years ago? Okay.
Yeah.
So I think this one had some. It was supposed to come out last year, but the strike and stuff, I believe. I don't know the exact specifics, but yeah, it was exhilarating getting to watch this trilogy the past couple of years, and I kind of am interested in more, but I'm kind of okay if they don't.
Oh yeah.
I know Ty West talked about doing a fourth movie. I'd be really interested to see like one final fourth movie, big blowout, big send off for Maxine. That would be really cool. Or Maxine eventually becoming what Pearl became.
Yeah.
Just in a different way, because Pearl never really made it, but Maxine is making it. They have that new horror sequel they're doing in the movie. So we see the aftermath of that. Like, she's a fucking star. She's a star after that movie. So it'd be really interesting to see like a commentary on like, yeah, this actress has their big fucking rise of fame. They have maybe their good 10 years, and then they slowly start getting less roles. They start getting older. They get more typecast. And it's kind of maybe growing a hatred for Hollywood that she never thought she would. That would be a really interesting story. But yeah, I liked Maxine a lot. I don't know. I'd have to rewatch it, because when I got out of the theater, it was my favorite of the trilogy. But that's just from my personal likes. To be honest, I love 80s anything. Like, I'll eat it the fuck up if it's done right and well. And it's not like throwing fucking, hey, remember fucking this from the 80s? Remember this from the 80s? Remember this song from the 80s? Yeah. I didn't feel like they did that. No film in this trilogy did that. It each took a timepiece, a time period, and executed it respectively, and didn't just shove in your face, hey, you want to hear fucking 1080 songs in 5 minutes? Here you go. Because that's what a lot of films set in the 80s do nowadays, and I fucking hate it. But yeah, I thought the movie was great. The ending was good. Mia Goth's obviously great. I don't even need to say that. I don't even need to say that she was great. She's just great. But yeah, great film, great trilogy. My ranking right now, so this might change, would be Maxine, Pearl, and X. My ranking of those three films.
Maxine being your favorite.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. Interesting.
Not only that, but she was great in the movie. But people are not talking enough about how fucking hilarious and amazing Kevin Bacon was.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin Bacon was fantastic in this movie. He was really great. Slimeball fucking detective trying to get the deets. Really great great character. And Bobby Cannavale and Michelle Monaghan were also great.
Love them. Giancarlo, phenomenal.
Giancarlo was also great.
Kevin Bacon.
Do
Yeah,
not
great
want
cast.
to see him. I don't want to see him with hair anymore. That hair piece looked awful.
I loved it.
Don't want to see it. He should be bald and only bald.
Oh no.
No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, I agree. Phenomenal ensemble cast, the biggest ensemble that Ty's worked with, and that just goes to show how many people loved X and Pearl. He got some big names to show out for him in this movie: Elizabeth Docby, Lily Collins, Giancarlo, Kevin Bacon, Bobby, Michelle, Halsey. The hell's Halsey doing there? But Halsey's there.
He's there for 5 seconds. She gets killed. So,
yeah, but definitely he did a great job with that. So I really enjoyed Maxine a lot, for sure.
No, two horror directors that really are killing it right now are Osgood and Ty West.
Oh, yeah.
Osgood Perkins and Ty West. Two really great horror directors right now.
Absolutely.
Granted, Osgood's only made Blackcoat's Daughter in this. I think something else. I can't think of it. But yeah, great horror directors. Horror movies may be weird yearly. Like they're off and on, even monthly, even. Like 1 month we'll get some shitty fucking movie like Night Swim or some crap. I haven't seen it. But I've heard it's crap. Or we'll get the next month and we'll get like something like Maxine and Longlegs coming out the same week or something like that, Yeah. So it's really interesting to see horror fluctuate. And if I see one more headline or one more thumbnail saying, "Is horror back? Is it back? Is it back, guys? It's been gone for so long. It's back." I will fucking blow my brains out right now. Because I hate when people say that. I really hate when people say that. Because it just goes to show that they don't watch horror films. True. They just watch the big two that come out that are franchises. They don't watch fucking any of this shit. So that bothers me when people do that. Horror has always fluctuated, as with every genre. It just fluctuates, Yeah. It has its great years, has the bad years. So yeah, I fucking hate people say that shit. I don't know if I consider this next one to be complete horror, but there's some horror elements in it, and I know we both really love this movie. But it's on the list, so I'm just going by Letterboxd. So I saw The TV Club.
Yes,
next, but
I don't. That's what I wanted to talk about. Yeah,
just for me, I don't really consider that horror, like complete horror. It has very horror elements in it, like very specific, sequences in it that give off that vibe. But for me, it felt more personal than just being a horror film, if that makes sense. I don't think it's just that. It's more than that in a lot of ways. But yeah, I thought this movie was really, really great.
Yeah.
It was kind of like Longlegs for me, but kind of the opposite. Like I had expectations for this movie to be good, just because all the great things I heard about it. The trailer was fantastic for it. So, and the director, Jane Sjoberg, if I'm saying that correctly, really got me intrigued to see this movie. Just knowing her backstory and her history with coming out as transgender, or whatever they identify as, I don't exactly know. But yeah, great story, great cinematography, amazing soundtrack, and beautiful performances. Really beautiful performances. I don't like. His name is Justice Smith, right?
Yes.
I don't like Justice Smith. I really wanted to see a T-Rex stomp on him in the Fallen Kingdom or in the Jurassic World movies because his character is trash in those films. So I never had a good impression with him. So that's why I was more skeptical going into this movie, because I just don't have any attachment to him. So, and he really surprised me. He really did surprise me with how great his performance was. Um, yeah, I really liked this movie a lot. I really loved it. And for it being kind of a allegory for, you know, being a transgender or kind of feeling out of place, I felt really attached to the story and the connections that they were
Sure.
making with that kind of with those types of allegories. And it really shocked me. Not really shocked me, but it surprised me how much I related to what she was trying to say in the writing and the directing and what they were trying to convey in their performances. So I thought it was really beautifully done. Um, it made me rethink a lot. Like it made me just think about a lot about just life. So when a movie like that has that effect on me, it's gonna stick with me for forever. Um, but yeah, what did you think of I Saw the TV Glow?
Same, and this is another one that I didn't do this intentionally. I hadn't seen any of the previews or trailers or anything, but I really enjoyed it. I was so just entranced in the story. Again, yeah, I thought the emotionality, the everything connected so well. And yeah, I thought it was just a great movie. I had no idea that would be one of my favorites of the year, but it is, and I yeah, I thought it was just really well done, especially with the message and everything. It was not overbearing. It was very artistic. It was entertaining. Yeah, I really loved it.
Yeah, I don't think there's much we can say about it anymore other than
Yeah, yeah.
we loved it. I was gonna make a joke, but I will refrain. I was gonna make a big joke. Um, the two other movies I've seen are I am seeing on this list. I haven't seen, and I fucking will not see.
Oh,
That's Immaculate and Lisa Frankenstein. I give no fucks about those two movies.
I probably will get around to them at
Um,
some point. Specifically, Lisa Frankenstein. That is the daughter of Robin Williams, and I am
I don't care.
interested in her. So I love Zelda. Love Zelda. She's a
I'll
national
say
treasure.
this too. I know a lot of people love her, and I love her too. I love her in Freaky. I love her in fucking Big Little Lies. I I can't. I do not like Catherine Newton. I do
Mm,
not like Catherine.
she's on and off.
She, like I said, she's great and freaky. I really like that movie um, with Vince
Wasn't she
Vaughn.
in Abigail?
She was in Abigail. She was okay in Abigail. She was okay. Like I just don't really like her a lot. I think she's really pretty, but
Sure.
that's a big reason why people like her.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Same thing with Sydney Sweeney, but yeah, which is the next movie we're going to be talking about. By the way, I know you haven't seen it, but I'll be quick. Um, but Abigail is next on the list. And
Yes,
Abigail
it
was
was.
another really surprising film this year because I'm not a big fan of vampires. I just don't care about vampires. I'm more of a werewolf guy. I like werewolves and shit like that. It's just fucking cool. It's just fucking cool to me. It's
Yeah,
cool as fuck. Vampires. Some vampires are very cool. A lot of them are actually very cool. I just don't like vampires that much. There's not really much you can do with vampires. You have a certain amount of same thing with werewolves, kind of the same thing with werewolves,
I
silver
love my
bullet,
werewolves.
all of their shit. So very similar tropes. But this movie was really good. I'm not saying his full name. I love Matt and Tyler, the
Yeah.
directors that, Radio Silence, their
Mm-hmm.
production company that did Scream 5 and Scream 6, and one of my favorite horror movies of all time, Ready or Not.
Yeah,
Fucking
that's a great
amazing
one. I
movie.
do like that one a lot. It's a great one.
I really enjoyed Scream 5 and Scream 6 as well. Should have ended at 5 though. But Abigail was really good. It was super funny, super dark, very gory, um, and just a really fun movie. It's just a really fun fucking movie. Like it's It's just really enjoyable. Like I said, the gore, the kills were fantastic. Another Giancarlo movie, but he's a vampire this time. So you get to see Giancarlo talk like this with vampire teeth in his mouth. And he says fuck. He says fuck like 10 times in 2 minutes. I'm like,
I love it.
Oh, how fucks are here? How many times is he going to say fuck? How many times is he going to lisp when he opens his mouth? Okay. But yeah, movie was great. Loved it. Can't wait to see a sequel if they do that, which they set it up. So hope they execute that and make it. I love Radio Silence. I really love their work. I know a lot of people don't like Scream 6 and Scream 5. Fuck you. Scream 5 is great. Scream 6 is enjoyable at best. So moving on to the next one. I haven't seen this one, so I'll give you your time to talk about a movie that you've seen that I have not seen. I haven't even seen the original. So I won't be seeing this until I do that. But that is The First Omen. I know this is going to be kind of a controversial opinion for you because I know a lot of people were sucking this movie.
They were sucking this movie off.
I haven't seen anything. I have no opinion on it. But just my perspective, I saw a lot of people saying it was great. So what did you think of The First Omen?
It was okay. It wasn't anything special or anything. There was still a lot of there's a lot of stupidity in the first half. Mm-hmm. And so I just, it was okay. It didn't do much for me. As an Omen fan, a big Omen fan, I wasn't that impressed. Listen, those movies are still the originals. Reign, King, I don't know, how or if you could reboot them and stuff, but I mean,
they did.
They tried. They keep 2009. Trying. Yeah, I saw it. No, it was more like 2004. It was like Liev Schreiber.
I think it was 2007 actually.
Yeah, maybe, but I saw it. It was Liev Schreiber and Naomi Watts, and I saw it. Yeah, so yeah, I was not that big of a fan. I'm sorry, didn't do much for me.
That's fine. And I know you're more into supernatural.
Yeah.
Than I am. I'm into supernatural horror movies. It just depends on how it's done. Like Emily Rose is one of the all-time greatest, exorcism movies, true story movie. Great fucking movie. And I would put Exorcist number one. Exorcist will always be number one. The best paranormal horror film ever fucking made.
Absolutely.
Need I say more? But yeah, that's his thoughts on The First Omen. And the next one was a very, very controversial horror film this year. Very controversial. In a Violent Nature came out this year. Directed by the wonderful, amazing attitude of Chris Nash, who has a beautiful, radiant personality and so much energy and has so much integrity when it comes to filming. So, yeah, In a Violent Nature was very, very interesting. And it's very self-indulgent in a lot of good and bad ways for me. Obviously, I mean, we can all say that as horror fans or even casual horror fans, I know this has just always been a big question in horror zeitgeist of like, hey, what if we followed Jason? Like, fuck all these annoying teenagers having sex and doing drugs and getting murdered. Who gives a fuck about them? Fuck the final girl. Fuck all that shit. Let's see Jason kill people for an hour and a half and just follow Jason the whole movie. In theory, in concept, sounds very cool. But when you get down to the meat of it, the bare bones of it, not much you can do.
Yeah.
At least in this movie. And I love Jason Voorhees and love Friday the 13th. I would not want this for Jason ever. Yeah. Ever want to see that shit. because I can see it with this and the sequel that's coming out. Love you, Chris Nash.
Yeah,
Can't wait to
yeah.
hear what you thought of your experience filming the second one. If you're even going to film the second one, which I fucking doubt he will. I guarantee. I'm
Right.
calling it right now. He's not going to direct the second one. I'm calling it right now. I don't know. I like this movie. I don't hate it. There's stuff in it that I'm like, okay, you can cut. You can move on. Okay. You know? So, no, the kills were good. I really loved the kills of the film. Probably the biggest highlight of the film for me. And Johnny was really cool. I felt like Johnny is kind of entering the horror zeitgeist, kind of like Art did. Art kind of came in slow. So when Terrifier came out, nobody knew what the fuck it was. It took Netflix to release it on Netflix. That's how I found it. That's how I found it when it first dropped on Netflix. Me and my friend Tyler were just laying on the couch, like looking for a movie to watch, and I was like, he's terrified of clowns. So I was like, we're putting this on, bro. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck. The poster's great. If everyone knows the Terrifier poster. So I feel like it's kind of having a similar but lessened kind of, thing with In a Violent Nature. Like, I feel like Johnny will for sure be like an iconic horror, like, killer.
Sure.
Like, he will for sure.
He might, yeah. I mean,
go ahead.
He might, yeah. I mean, I'm not the craziest about the film. I thought there were good elements of it, and it's an interesting concept. But you could tell just how much he really didn't know what he was doing or cared too much. Like, it was more just like, oh, this is experimental. Let's do this. And so some of the things, like, I'm sorry, I give that kill where he's just chopping the dead dude up.
I loved it.
I was like, this is. I think I told the person I was watching it with, I was like, maybe this says something bad about me. But I'm like, this is boring. This is boring as fuck. I'm like,
I was fine.
At least keep him alive so he can be screaming for it and all that. Like,
I will say my biggest, to kind of piggyback off what you said about him not knowing what he was doing. I didn't feel like there was any unique shots or unique sequences that were shot in a particular way in this movie.
Right.
I felt like it was, it felt very typical. Like, here, I'm just gonna fucking set the camera down and just fucking not move it for 10 minutes while you watch him chop this guy up. Like that, I like that scene, but the camera sitting there was boring as fuck.
Yeah.
I like that scene, but it needs some movement. It needs some angles. Not just that, but I get it. It just felt very typical. Like, oh yeah, tracking shot. We're going to track him the whole movie and then set the camera down sometimes and just leave it there. I don't even think there's someone behind the camera. I think they just fucking left the camera sitting there and walked away, and they were like, okay, yeah, just do what you're doing.
Yeah.
It just felt very amateur is the right word. Amateur. But I like the movie. I didn't think it was horrible. It's not great. But interesting concept. I'm open to stuff like this. Very open to stuff like this, especially with how typical horror can get. And very studioized horror. Conjuring movies.
Hey.
But yeah. That's really all I have to say about it. So,
yeah.
Any last words?
I was not a fan of the film. I really didn't like it. But yeah, other than that,
each their own.
I did want to give a special mention though to one that I saw that you didn't see called Stop Motion, which I think is probably one of not just of the year, but of probably one of the best horror films that I've ever seen. It was especially.
Now you're getting my hypes up. So.
Well, here's the thing, though. It's very weird to describe, and I don't want to spoil anything, so I'm not going to say anything. But the perspective that this is coming from really, really related and hit with me as a creative and as somebody.
Nope.
Exactly, as a creative and as somebody like it. Just it was not only one of the actual scariest films I've ever seen. Yeah, it was phenomenal. It's 10 out of 10 for me. Absolutely love stop motion. So check that out.
On my list. Red Letter Media did a review on it.
Oh,
I don't know if you watched it, but I believe it's in their 2024 mid-year catch-up they did a few weeks ago.
Oh, okay.
And they really liked it a lot too.
Yeah.
And they gave a few.
I would assume so because again, it's a movie. It's very weird. It has an audience, and that is creative people. The audience of this movie is not your typical general audience. It is very understanding of the mind of a creative person, and so it's very effective on that level. If you're into all of that, and so yeah, I loved it. I was terrified. I was engaged.
I'm a big fan of stop motion too, so that's something I'm really interested to see, like how that was done.
Yes,
how good it looks and stuff. I'm sure it looks great. They also go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say a quick honorable mention. Not again, kind of like I saw the TV Glow. Not full horror, but elements in there, especially body horror and stuff. And that was Love Lies Bleeding. I have now seen that film.
Get to that.
I have seen that.
I was going to get to that, you fuck.
Oh. Anyways, I've now seen that film 4 times.
4 times?
I've seen it 4 times.
I'm sorry.
One of the best films of the year. Absolutely phenomenal. Great story. Great, right? Just all the way around great. And I will be right back. I have to do something.
Okay. And that's the last time we'll ever see him or ever hear from him again. But yeah, that is Love Lies Bleeding. I'll talk about it right now, I guess. Yeah, it was okay. It was all right. I don't like Kristen Stewart. She has a RBF, and every time she does a movie, I really want to see Spencer. I haven't seen Spencer still, and I heard she was great in that. So I really want to watch that. She can be good sometimes, but overall, like she's very flat, and I don't know. But I watched Love Lies Bleeding twice. I watched it a second time a few weeks ago. I liked it a lot more, but I don't like the third act. I fucking can't stand the third act. But yeah, I have really interesting cinematography. I like the I can't think of her name right now. The main chick, the bodybuilder chick. She was great in the movie. I really love that sequence of her like fucking tweaking, doing the bodybuilding thing in California that she went to when she like super fucking tweaking. That was a great sequence. Yeah, there's good stuff in here and there, but overall, kind of mid for me. But that's coming from me. I have a very specific, like I said earlier, very specific type of interest in horror and stuff like that. So I just need to find the list real quick of the rest of the films that came out that we need to talk about. Yeah, so far this year for horror has been pretty solid. Not amazing, like I said. I don't feel like it's been like top tier, top notch so far. As a whole, there has been, like we talked about earlier, Longlegs, Maxine, Abigail, TV Glow, stuff like that, where they're really good. But I'm more interested in what's coming later in the year for horror. And we'll get into that when he comes back and when we finish this episode. We'll talk about our most anticipated ones. And by the end of the year, probably in December, I'll do a part 2 and we'll cover all the rest of the films that we saw, which I cannot wait to talk about. Some of these that we're going to see in the next couple weeks. But there's one that Austin hasn't seen that I saw, sadly, and that would be Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2. I don't know what to say about this movie. I don't know what to say. It's a movie. It's a movie. I don't think it's good at all. I really don't. There's some parts of it that I like. I think the soundtrack is great. The practical effects and the prosthetics look fantastic. They definitely got a bigger budget and it looks really good. And I love the fact that they acknowledge how bad that first movie is, that it's not even canon in the movie anymore. It's literally playing on a fucking TV channel, and it's like a spoof version of the first movie, which I actually think it was actual shots and actual scenes from the first movie, I think. I watched it in theater, so it's been a minute. But yeah, horrible fucking movie. Horrible performances. But great soundtrack and great practical effects and some okay kills. Actually, there's one kill. There's one specific kill that I really liked. And that's when Winnie the Pooh, sorry, voice crack there. Winnie the Pooh has a bear trap and he swings it around like a fucking lasso and he fucking chucks it and it goes on some chick's head, latches on and he just yanks it off. That was fucking awesome. That was an awesome kill.
I thought it was pretty dumb. I don't know.
You didn't watch it. Did you just hear the kill I described though?
No.
So I'm talking about Winnie the Pooh 2, by the way.
Oh god.
The movie's trash.
Oh god.
It's fucking trash. But like I said, you weren't here. The practical effects and the kills were good. And the soundtrack was really good. I really like the soundtrack for the movie. And I also love, like I said earlier, you weren't here, how they acknowledge how bad that first movie is. They decanonized it and made it a spoof on a TV channel in the movie. Like some people are watching it on TV, like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
It's hilarious. The decision to recast Christopher Robin with the producer / writer / director of Bambi and the other films they're doing. He was a good choice to recast Christopher Robin because I know the guy that did it in the first movie gave no fucks. He was a complete asshole on set and he just completely phoned it in. Granted, if I'm in a Winnie the Pooh horror movie, I'm gonna phone it in too, motherfucker. You are not gonna see me giving no Meryl Streep performance in that shit. Okay.
Right.
You're gonna get me like you get me. So I don't blame him for that, but he's still trash. The guy that they got is still bad. He is not good at acting. He should not act in these movies or ever.
No.
But yeah, the one kill that got me though was Winnie the Pooh has a bear trap. He swings it around. He's in a nightclub, by the way. There's a fucking... I totally forgot about the nightclub scene. The nightclub scene. What? Why did you cut away? Why did you cut away from all those kills, you fucks? Why?
Yeah.
Because it shows you some kills in the nightclub. Because Winnie the Pooh and Tigger fucking murder those people. It's cool. But they do the low budget thing. I get it's low budget. They didn't have enough blah, 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 blah. But they show a shot of like, plastic shit you see in a fucking fridge, whatever. And it's like slowly getting slashed with more blood. I'm like, I don't care. Show me the death Show me the murder. I don't want to see the blood. Show me it all.
Right.
But no, Winnie the Pooh grabs a bear trap, swings it around like a lasso, fucking throws it. It latches onto this chick's head.
Oh God.
It fucking closes and he just rips her head off.
Oh yes, I've heard of it. Yes.
It was awesome. That was awesome. Other than that, I've talked about this movie for way too long to the point where I might kill myself now. So we're gonna be moving on. I don't think maybe there's one more. Well, there's that. I'm sorry, I'm just looking real quick because there's some that I haven't seen, some that you haven't seen, but the only one I could talk about next is Sting, because I haven't seen any of these other movies. Sting was garbage. I don't know why people think it's good. If you think it's good, more power to you. It's just such a typical fanboy movie. Typical fanboy movie. We're going to take all of the greatest moments from 3 great films, 2 generally James Cameron films, and we're just going to copy and paste, not even homage, not even like a hat tilt, just full on ripoff of specific scenes.
Yeah.
For instance, how they kill the giant spider giant, because it's not fucking giant. If you're gonna have a big spider movie, make it bigger, bitch. That shit was not scary at all, and I have severe arachnophobia. Did not scare me at all. It was horrible. When you like, I get it. Terminator, Alien, some of the greatest movies ever made. And there are hundreds of hat tilts, ripoffs, and homages to those 2 films.
Okay.
Almost everywhere you fucking look in cinema, right? There's just always going to be that.
Oh yeah.
But when you literally take the T-800 and replace it with a spider and kill it the same fucking way, you have no creativity. That's not creative. That just shows me you didn't know how to end your film. So, oh yeah, we'll just take this from this amazing movie and just put a spider in it. It's uninspired. It's uncreative. It's just a generic, like I was saying earlier, a generic studio horror film.
Yeah.
It's shit. Granted, the characters are in it. I like the characters. I like the relationship between the kind of estranged daughter with the stepdad and him being like a comic book artist and them bonding over that. Like, there's some good moments with the characters.
Sure.
The movie sucks dick. Sucks dick. But that's all I have to say about Sting. Just uninspired, uncreative piece of shit. So yeah. That's, I mean, unless there's any horror movies that you've seen that I haven't seen that you want to talk about.
Not for 2024, I don't think so. Yeah.
So we'll get into the end of the show and talk about our most anticipated up and coming, because I mentioned earlier when you weren't here in December, we'll do a part 2 and recap all the films we saw from here until then, which, you know, horror has been good this year. But the end of the year is when I'm more looking forward to. So yeah, we'll wrap it up because I know you have to get going. But I'm just gonna name these off so you don't have to look at it. Beetlejuice is not a horror film, but I'm very interested to see that. I'm super excited.
That is a horror film. That's a horror
film. No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
It's a horror
film. It's a horror film.
Mm-hmm.
The first one isn't a horror film.
Yes, it is.
No, it isn't.
It's considered horror.
No.
Yes, it is.
Not to me.
Absolutely, it's horror.
Not to me. Actually, no. That's a comedy.
Comedy horror.
No.
What's Abigail? What's Ready or Not? What's all the comedy horror?
It's not a horror movie. It's just weird.
Dark comedy, dark fantasy, horror, supernatural.
Okay, that's Google. Fuck you, Google. I don't care about what Google says.
Okay.
I care about what I say. Fuck Google. I am Google, bitch. I am Google.
Wow. Unbelievable.
I see all of your search histories, motherfuckers. I know you're watching that Pornhub, bitch. I know you're watching that Pornhub. I know you're tipping those OF models.
Spooky, scary comedy. Spooky.
Horror is not.
Spooky.
Spooky, scary skeletons and shivers down my spine. Sticks and stones.
But yeah, Beetlejuice. Looking forward to Beetlejuice. Very much looking forward to Beetlejuice.
Yeah, I can't wait for that. Finally, a Tim Burton film that's not fucking full of CGI. If there's one frame of CGI in it, I'm destroying it. No, I'm kidding.
Let's see if it can be as good as Blue Beetle.
Oh, Cuckoo. I cannot wait for Cuckoo.
Yes.
Looks like a really good movie.
Definitely.
Dan Stevens. This is the year of Dan Stevens, bitches. This is the year of Dan Stevens. He was amazing in Abigail. He's gonna be amazing in this. And he was the only redeemable part of Godzilla X Kong, which is also a shit fest of a movie. But he was very entertaining. Yeah, Cuckoo looks great. Nosferatu, I know, is on our top list of movies we want to see this year. Alien Romulus, which we're seeing next week. I cannot fucking wait to see this movie, guys. I legit cannot wait to see this movie. I'm a huge, huge Alien fan. So whenever there's an Alien movie coming out, I'm there day one, baby. Day one. I will be there. Seated, ready, and screaming.
Same.
So
same.
The substance, yes,
and the shrouds. I'm looking forward
the
to
shrouds. Humane looks good. I'll see The Crow. I'll see it.
Yeah.
I ain't paying to see it.
I'll see it eventually.
Terrifier 3, hello. Terrifier 3, hello. Art the Clown Calling.
Of course.
Gonna be probably the greatest horror film of the fucking year. I'm already saying it. I already know tens of thousands of people are going to be saying it when they see it. Best horror movie ever fucking made. Yeah, I can't wait for that. I am not seeing Speak. Speak looks like
Speak No Evil.
No, that James McAvoy. Oh yeah, Speak No Evil.
Speak No Evil. Yeah.
I thought it was just called Speak. I'll see Shelby Oaks. I fucking hate Chris Stuckman. And how stuck up his fucking stick up his own ass is. But I'll watch it. Hellboy, I will not be watching that. I will not be watching Hellboy. That movie looks like a fan fucking film. You know what that film reminds me of, babe? You ever see Jeepers Creepers Reborn, the trailer?
Yeah. Yeah.
It reminds me of that.
Oh, God.
That's all I need to say.
Oh, no.
There's a few others that I'm not seeing right now, but I know there is. The Beast Within, it looks actually pretty good. Looks okay. It's a werewolf movie, I think. So I'll fucking him in. I was really disappointed with that last werewolf movie we saw. That medieval, like 1800s one that we saw, The Curse. That movie sucked.
Yes. I remember that one. Yeah.
That was so hyped for that.
Yeah, I forgot about it.
I was so hyped for that movie. It sucked dick. Yeah, I can't see. That's really all I can see right now and think of.
Yeah, same.
But yeah, that's pretty much it. Before we close out, there's a new segment I'll be doing for each horror spotlight, and it's going to be called Gore Galore. Galore of gore.
Now you just got to do the voiceover for that. Put the
So I don't have a full montage right now because this was just a last minute type of thing. So there's one kill from In a Violent Nature that everyone knows if you've seen the movie what kill it is. But this was the kill highlight of all of these movies. This was the best kill, in my opinion, out of all of these films. So yeah, let's see this bitch get murdered.
Yeah, I don't think you can show that. Probably have to cut that.
No, you can show it. Do you see my background right now?
I mean, well, yeah.
You see my fucking background right now?
Yeah, but that's that was like a minute of. I'm not
it's
sure.
A head blowing up.
Hey,
This head has been from scanners, by the way, has been blowing up for an hour and 2 minutes.
Yeah, I know. That's fine.
YouTube does not care about gore. Unless you are showing nipples, penis, butt, or titties, they don't give a fuck. Or you're smoking weed. But you can smoke fucking cigarettes and fucking kill yourself, but you can't smoke a fucking joint. Guess what, bitches? They have cigarette joints, bitch. So I can just fucking roll a fucking joint and it looks like a cigarette. So what are you going to do about that? I just gave away everyone's trade secrets, so I'm going to go before I get fucking lynched. Yeah, thank you for coming and talking about horror with me so far. I know you're not really super into horror, but I take full responsibility for getting you more into it the past couple of years.
I am super into horror. I don't know where that.
Now you are. Took you goddamn too long. I said what I said. But yeah, that's pretty much it for today. This is the first and only stream or only video I'll ever be doing. You'll never see me again. I'm taking another 1.5 year hiatus. You guys will never see or hear from me again. Fuck you, bitches. And fucking suck on this dick.